everybody has a different life experience, and even if we haven't experienced the thing that other people have, it doesn't make it invalid.
Oh, hello.
We're talking about my tits.
Most of the time.
Girl on girl on girl.
You would.
Like, stop picking up the fucking hot knife.
Fucking cares.
Right on track.
Ugh.
With a lot of money, I would do great fucking things.
But not in a good way.
Yikes.
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 Yikes. Where's the realness?
Yeah. Everything you want. Immaculate experience.
Back down.
You're getting, like, excited.
I do actually.
need the tequila.
Exactly.
Yikes is right.
Oh my gosh, we have a super sonic yikesicle for you today. I'm still in disbelief after some of the things you were telling me right before we got on.
I mean, I'm just trying to pull up the thing here. Okay, so my client messaged me yesterday, and she sends me this reel, and she goes, "Thoughts?" ...
You know it's going to be good when.
She loves to hear my opinion. She knows I'm spicy, and she also knows I'm like into personal development. So she's like, "Thoughts?"
Yeah.
And I wrote, "This bitch has never burnt out. Definitely not a mindset thing. This sounds like a disembodied mindset hack of someone
let's
who has
give
never
them-
had enough trauma or hard experiences where their bodies have legit shut down." I said my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let's
then
give
she
them
said, "I'd love
context what it is.
What's that?
Let's give them context what it is, because they don't know.
I know, but let's keep them on the fucking
Oh, okay.
suspense train. She said, "I'd love to ask her about her childhood. Something rubbed me the wrong way." And she said, and she's usually on fire with her advice. Anyways, okay. So, what we're talking about is a very, very, very well-known podcast, Diary of a CEO. Mm-hmm. And...
Got a candle.
Ah!
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. It's playing. Can you hear it?
It's a misconception about
Yeah.
hard work.
Okay, so they have Natalie Dawson on, who's like a very, very well-known, like, female entrepreneur. And, oh man, the reel starts with, "You're not a candle. You can't burn out." I'm like, wait, what? Well, candles, first of all, they do burn out.
And exactly. Like, have you ever had a candle? Like,
Candles definitely do burn out.
they definitely do.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then
It keeps
basically
going.
she's stating that she doesn't think that burnout is a real thing.
Yeah.
And that it's sort of like a mindset thing, and you can't burn out. It's just, you just have to change your environment, and you just shift gears, and that's all is really happening. And it's interesting because obviously I read body languages, and I'm watching her. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, it's just like a very robotic delivery, and it just has this air of pretty privilege, and it has an air.
yeah.
And listen, I know people are obsessed with her. Like, I know people are obsessed with her. I'm not saying she's shit at all. I mean, listen, bitch has got like multi-whatever, 9-figure companies. It's just that delivery of that statement, I mean, you should fucking see the comments. They are popping
Oh,
off.
it is a circus in there.
It is the circus. But it got me a little fired up, you know, which is obviously what it's designed to do. Like you said, it's like rage
It's
clickbait.
rage bait. Yeah.
Rage bait. But it was more of this, like, is this what we've come to as a society and as a collective? Right? And her saying that, the first thing that came to my mind was, you obviously haven't experienced burnout, because anyone who hasn't experienced something doesn't really
Have a
have
frame of
any
reference.
appreciation or compassion for it. And I wrote my client back and he said, I feel like when I was drowning in stress, having panic attacks, new baby, addict partner, on the brink of bankruptcy, barely being able to pay my staff,
Yeah.
can't drive, can't function, can't parent, can't teach my fitness studio anymore. Like, my body literally was shutting down. I feel like if somebody had told me back then, Christine, you're not a candle. You're not a candle. You can't burn out. I would have been like, Like, I probably would have died, and it would have added to my shame, and it would have added to my overwhelm, and my nervous system is absolutely fucked, right? Burnout is mass chronic nervous system dysregulation. And so her saying that statement, a lot of people in the comments have said this is like very dangerous. This should be taken down.
Yeah.
Because she has a massive platform, and so does he. And so even though he's saying, what are your thoughts about this? A lot of people in the comments said, why did you not ask her smarter questions? Why did you not break this down a bit more? Why did you not? Which I think is fair.
Yeah,
like, he's an
fair.
amazing guy. Like, I love his stuff. I love following him. Like, he's, obviously built amazing success. So if this was rage bait, I don't know. It's just like, can you do better? Can we just actually take stuff that is, again, nobody's perfect. Who knows? It might not have been him. It might have been his fucking production team. Like, it's one of those.
Yeah, it's the team.
It's the team, obviously, right? It's not like he's the one. But stuff like that, when you're vulnerable and you hear something like that, you might actually have that thought, like, you're right, I'm not a candle, I can't burn out. And then we literally disassociate, bypass everything, and add more burnout. And, my client was a bit riffed, and she's like, I love this chick, I follow her, love her advice and all these things. But it just tells me she hasn't actually experienced burnout, because anyone who has a little more compassion, or might just think a little more. I mean, and then I did a bit of research on her, and her and her husband, and her husband's 25 years older than her, which isn't, I'm not suggesting that that's exactly why she's successful, but I think there was a image of them in like 2018, and she was 25 and he was 50, and apparently she met him when she was really young, like 12, and he was like 37, or he came to her house or something. But
Which is a whole other yikes. But anyway.
it is, but and listen, I mean, Steve is, I think, 12 years my senior. It's not like I'm
12 is not 25, and you didn't meet him when you were 12.
Sure.
So.
Sure. And I'm not going totally against that stereotype. Do I think they're in love? Sure. Like, do I think that there's an amazing relationship there? For sure. It's just that what that means is, because he was already a very successful businessman, the kickoff and the jumpstart to her career.
Right. She's not starting from the bottom.
No. No. And so if
you
you've
got a
had
head start
life of luxury, and you've had a life of ease, and you've had a life of, again, I don't know her full story. I can't comment completely on that. She might have had trauma. She might have had things that have happened in her life.
Sure.
But I think there probably is a lot of privilege with anyone, right? Like, and there was probably some pretty big quantum leaps that happened through, not necessarily quantum leaping, but just through the ease ladder.
Yeah, social climbing.
Right? And so
it's fine. Call it what it is. Like, people do it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's what bugs me is, like, not addressing that factor.
Yeah.
That she had a bit of a head start. And you can't compare that starting point to someone who is working, 3 minimum wage jobs to pay their rent and feed their kids, or, the budding entrepreneur who is like throwing all of their energy and passion into their business, but it still hasn't, caught some steam and momentum. And so they're either moonlighting and working at another job because they have to in order to pay rent, or they're literally so stressed out from having to wear all the hats and do all the things. Like, not everybody has a team of, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever it is, to help do all the things. Like, most entrepreneurs start off as solopreneurs, where you have to learn how to do all of the things yourself. And that is, if you're not careful, such a recipe for burnout. Like, burnout is actually a thing.
science will show that.
Science will show. And also, like, we have the science of it, but then we also have, like, the spirituality and the energetics of it, which sometimes with burnout, it happens when we are actually off track. Yeah. Like, when we're not doing the thing that we're supposed to be doing, and we're forcing our life.
Yes.
Versus, like, actually doing the disruptive thing or the scary thing of leaving the relationship or leaving the job or whatever it is that takes you from being off purpose to on purpose. So sometimes burnout is that signal. Other times it's just a byproduct of living in a hyper-individualistic, capitalistic world. Like, it's a thing. And to deny that, is so dehumanizing in so many ways. And it doesn't actually propel innovation. It doesn't inspire people to follow their heart and follow their dreams. Like, as you say, like, it likely just injected and activated a lot of shame for anyone who heard that reel, saw that TikTok, if it's on YouTube, or has listened to that segment of the podcast. And I think when we have that much influence, there is a degree of responsibility that goes with it to be a stand for possibility and a stand for innovation and inspiration, and still remaining in touch with your audience. And I don't know many people who can really relate to a 9-figure business. Like, that's so out of range for most people. And it's great. And I think she could do a lot of good by, properly mentoring people. But telling them that burnout's not a thing when it's a thing just kind of feeds that whole idea that billionaires are evil and eat the rich.
Totally. It's like, don't step into that stereotype.
Like, why are you doing that?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. I mean, again, they obviously pulled that one segment.
Sure.
Everything has context. Here at Club Unhinged, we like to look at
Nuance.
ideally the whole package, because I'm sure there's people on there who are wildly triggered. Like, in general, I think you and I do a really good job of trying to look at something as a whole unit and not just get spazzy over one fucking thing and go off the rails with it. I mean, this in Yikes, we obviously are pulling things that are spicy and hot topics.
A little
and things
yikesy.
that are woo, getting people, either us bent out of shape or them. There's also information in all of this.
Yeah.
And I think we can also really learn and grow from every time we have one of these. It's a great initiation for ourselves to do better. It's a great initiation to invite leaders to do better. And also people in the comments, it's a great opportunity to look at where there is still undigested emotion or debris or pain from your past. That like injustice piece, that feeling of being misunderstood, of, I think even for a lot of people, it probably brings up that like younger, helpless part who's like, no, this happened. Like, it actually happened. And then somebody's trying to gaslight you and be like, no, it's not real. Burnout's not real. It's pretend. It's like, it's you're just like a candle.
Candles burn forever.
Candles burn forever, never and ever. And it's like, wait, what? Like
So are we living in the same universe here?
I think that it brings this level of self-responsibility as well for people. And I always find it interesting whenever things like this happen. I mean, it got me a little stirred up. And then I was like, okay, what information is here? I was like, ooh, maybe there's still a bit of tending around the version of me who had to endure all that stuff and had to shut down and had to, be on the brink of literally an absolute epic meltdown where I remember asking my mentor at the time, I said, am I going to die? Oh no, I didn't have a mentor. I was too broke then. I asked a friend who was seeing my old mentor, can you ask her if I'm going to die? Because I literally, my life force energy felt so low.
Yes.
And it wasn't like, oh, I just don't feel like it today. My body literally shut down to the point where I couldn't drive. I couldn't parent. I couldn't teach. I couldn't even be in my business. I couldn't do anything because I had chronic stress just over time that literally just ate away at me and my nervous system. And I would have loved to imagine it was a mindset thing that I could out-hack. And I remember as I started getting better, I ended up being able to hire a coach, and we did a lot of, again, mindset stuff. Dreaming, building business, all these things. And like, none of it fucking worked.
No.
None of it worked. And
it was in your body.
It's your body, and your body controls everything. Your nervous system controls everything. So if you've been in chronic stress for a long time, if you've had trauma in your life, if you've had shit go down, which everyone has, those are real experiences. It is our responsibility that was another comment she made in there. I think it was something like, sort of along the lines of like, you're the one who's going to fix it. It was just, again, it's like this
Rugged
poor unfortunate
individualism.
soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just this elitism, and
Yeah.
you just gotta think your way out of it. And it's like, yo bitch.
Pull
Not
yourself
fucking-
up by your bootstraps.
Yeah. Just hustle a little harder. So I actually wrote a comment that said basically that. I said, like, I'm pretty sure that when I was panicking and drowning, I
Fucked.
said, I don't think
Yeah.
that this mindset, burning a candle, hustle harder analogy would have fucking done sweet fuck all for me. My client died when I screenshot it and was like, yeah, I commented because I was like, who fucking cares? Like, whatever. I just, I made it, there wasn't, the energy behind it wasn't like, fuck you. And
Right.
I don't have that kind of charge at all, but it was more of like a making light and being like, I feel like this probably
You might
would've worked
want
for
to
me.
might
Yeah.
want to approach it from a different angle. Just saying.
Just saying. So some people were very triggered in there, and
Sure.
I did a bit of work on myself to be like, what is this? Okay, this, because I remember during that time, it felt like I was going crazy, and I feel like people didn't understand or believe me because they're not in it. Mm-hmm. They don't understand. When you haven't experienced something, you don't understand. You can say you do, but until you've actually walked through the fire of that thing, you don't.
And there's a difference between being able to intellectually understand something and then having the lived experience, which I think is the distinction you're talking about here.
100%.
Like people can read a textbook and they're like, oh, okay, this is a thing. So I mentally understand it, but I don't actually have the lived experience. So when someone brings their lived experience, I'm going to be like, okay, like I might be able to see that on paper. That could be true, but also just mindset yourself out of it. Like it's hard. Like, no. But the people who've walked through the fire, they know what it's like to be in the fire. And they know that it's not just in your head, it's in your body. Like I was never at the point where you were at, but I definitely had stages of my journey because I was in a weekend with my mentor this past weekend, and one of the realizations was like how much of my life I've spent dissociated and the overall impact on my physiology because of that. And then coming back into the body, how confronting that was, and having to feel all of these things that for, 2 decades of my life, I just had pushed to the sidelines and not felt. But that's literally what led to these seasons of burnout where I couldn't really function anymore. I mean, I'm a chronic overfunctioner, and like when you overfunction, eventually the tank runs dry. And we understand that when it comes to a vehicle, like you can't drive your vehicle when there's no gas in the tank. And yet human beings think that there's this infinite amount of energy. And if they're not doing things to cultivate that energy, like eventually that energy runs out. And when we are in this pocket of burnout, at least for me, like it was very felt in my body. It was not my brain. It was my body was just not cooperating anymore. And luckily I'd done enough mindset work to be like, is this maybe a signal that I need to pay attention to? And if I keep doing what I've always done, I'm going to get more of what I've always had. And if I want to turn this around and actually feel good in my body, I can't keep running full steam ahead when my system is literally on empty. And that's actually when I went into nervous system work. That was, I think, around 2019 was the first mentor that I worked with. And we started working with the body and the nervous system. And it's like, this is like a whole new world. And also like, I'm finally feeling like a bit of that replenishment that had been missing. And, I'm never going to sit here and make myself wrong for getting to that point because all of it has served the journey. But I think it's really important to just be mindful about the way we're talking about these things and understand that everybody has a different life experience. And even if we haven't experienced the thing that other people have, it doesn't make it invalid. And we could apply that in many, many, many different contexts. But in this particular one, like, especially with the amount of overwhelm and burnout and over functioning that's happening just to kind of make it through the day, I think it was just, I don't know, it felt a little off in terms of like being in touch with the reality of most people, and quite insensitive, I would say.
My client said, what did she say? She said something about like the crabs and how like, kind of like if referring to like, you know, crabs being like a hard thing. And she said something about like, I think the only crabs this chick's experience is the ones that have fallen off her yacht or something like that. I can't remember verbatim, but I was like fucking dead. And again, listen, like, I know this is why people don't want to be in the spotlight and be visible on these things, because people are going to talk about you, you know, look, even in that interaction, right? I said something back to her, but I also would have no problem if, you know, Stephen was like, hey, you want to talk about that? Okay, come on the podcast and let's three of us have a debate about, you know what I mean? I'd be like, 100%. It's not a shadow thing. I'm not doing it where I wouldn't say it. That's why I also went on and wrote in the comments. Because I was like, I have no problem saying this. I'm not coming from a charged energy of like, fuck you, bitch. It's not that. You don't know me. I've done enough work to understand that. It's just that, and I'm also not coming from a virtue signaling of, you should, it's not that either. But I think that there is some value in being able to share your opinion and to push back a little bit.
Yeah. Just
to say, hey, you know what? That was a fucking stupid thing to say.
Real dumb.
And,
Real dumb.
You know, she could be like, well, you're dumb because I've got the 9-figure businesses.
Yeah,
exactly. She'd be like, treat yourself, girl. Like, damn, whatever. Like, you know, fair. But I think sometimes it's like, you're not going to shame somebody. You're not going to blame somebody. You're just saying, hey, you know what? That was kind of a stupid thing to say. And, you know, next time you might want to think about some of the people who are, like you said, single moms or drowning to pay basic bills, don't have, you know, their basic survival needs met. And to say that burnout isn't a real thing. I mean, look at frontline workers, look at emergency room doctors and nurses. Really? You don't think they're burnt out? Right?
They're so burnt out.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like,
hello.
Yeah.
That's actually the more common experience, I would say, is the majority of people are probably burnt out.
Yeah.
And we could deconstruct that till the cows come home. But I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the way that society is set up. And also if we're not actually following our purpose and what we're really here to do, and perhaps we're on a path that our parents thought we should be on, or, you know, our community thought we should be on, and it's just not the true thing. And so it requires you to work so much harder to stay misaligned in that instance than it does to surrender into what you're here to do. Let's say you're a poet or a dancer, or you're meant to be a chef or have a community garden. I don't know what it is that your soul is calling you to do, but when we're out of sync with that, we do set ourselves up to be burnt out. And I think that's probably why at least a chunk of people are so disembodied and burnt out. But then you also have the larger population who just cannot make their basic needs, and they can't get their basic needs met because of some of the systems that are set up in our society, and they're set up so that people don't win. And so like to not address those caveats, I think is where she missed the mark. Like, if you are living on purpose and you are doing the thing your soul is here to do, and you know how to advocate for yourself and your boundaries and your needs, then yeah, you probably aren't going to experience burnout. But usually getting to that point requires the flip side first. Unless you know, you're very privileged and you don't have that particular pathway, which is its own thing. And there's lots of stuff that comes with privilege too, that the world, we should have a conversation about that, because there's a lot that doesn't get talked about when it comes to people who come from places of privilege, and like their life is not a walk in the park, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
And also, you know, when we're talking about such a charged topic, I think it is important to bring some more nuance to the conversation. And hopefully we've done a little justice here today, bringing some nuance into the conversation, so that if you did hear that and you are experiencing burnout, you're not thinking I'm a fucking loser. And
I'm just a candle. Candle.
I'm a candle. I'm a candle. I'm a candle.
Next time I'm all stressed, I'm like, I'm just a candle. I'm a candle. Well, my body. The problem is that we don't. A lot of people don't understand. Our body dictates everything we do. Like our nervous system literally controls everything.
Yeah.
So that's why mindset work. There's 80% more information traveling from your body to brain than brain to body. So mindset work is fine, but it's
very helpful.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it's a fraction of what actually moves the needle forward sustainably long term.
Exactly.
And if you are burnt out right now, we feel you. It's not, and we're not sitting here advocating and saying, oh, if you're burnt out, do nothing, sweet fuck all, and just, you know, feel like a victim, whatever, right? Like, that's not what we're saying. But having some compassion that, you know, you probably have had a lot of stuff go down. Mm-hmm. She also doesn't, like, none of this addresses trauma. Like, when you have, like you said, there's so many factors that you have, but if you have trauma and you've had, which is just very highly emotional experiences or overwhelming experiences that you don't properly digest, and you don't have a safe person to help you walk through those on the other side of it. It's not about the actual experiences, what happens afterwards. Majority of people have that, because majority of people didn't have emotionally available parents or like very conscious parents, which is now shifting now. But so a lot of people have that, and trauma is like carrying like a freaking 200-pound backpack. Yeah. So everything you do feels heavier because you have all of these, think of them like landmines in your body, that your nervous system doesn't know that you're not actually in that scenario anymore. So as you're trying to do day-to-day basic things, there's a lot of extra weight.
Yeah. It's like we're fighting for our life. Like, don't you know? We are in the jungle being hunted.
Yes. So it doesn't, your system doesn't know that. And so if we could give you some tools and some things today, if you are feeling a bit of that burnout and you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, Kels, do you have any things that, like, I mean, I've got a couple that I would recommend, but do you have any things that have really helped you when you were in that more burnt out stage or phase?
Yeah, I mean, mine are always a little bit more unconventional. Orgasm has always been, it's literally medicine for me, and not from a place of dissociating and like using porn or anything outside of me to fracture even more or leave my body even more. Yeah. It's actually a practice of going in and being somatically attuned to the sensation of pleasure, and expanding my capacity that way. Also, I'm a big fan of the food you put into your body makes the world of a difference. So I just started shifting my food and not really eating out, but cooking and making sure that I was getting ingredients that my body was craving and listening to those signals and feeding myself well, and sleep, like lots of good quality sleep. And so like eye masks, dark room, cool breeze, things that actually help me kind of get back to a baseline. And then from there, obviously mentorship, somatic therapy. Somatic therapy was such a game changer for me. And somatic practices, very helpful. And community, like, don't underestimate the power of really strong social fabric and social networks, with people who care about you and love you and who want to help and who want to support you and hold you when you're falling to pieces. So those would be my top ones.
I love that. And I love the community piece as well, because when you can actually go to somebody and say, I'm not okay, or I feel like I'm burnt out, just even naming it, like, eradicates the shame around it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm burnt out and I feel like crap. And it's huge. It's like a big weight lifts off of you Because when you're
100%.
in the state of burnout, like I know for me, I felt so alone.
Yeah.
And then now you add on a layer of social media. So
Sure.
you're already burnt out. You feel like crap. You're overwhelmed. And all of a sudden you go on social media and you're like,
Doom scroll.
fuck me sideways. Oh my God, everyone on here is thriving and doing living their best life. And so there's a lot of that isolation and feeling alone, which then also triggers a stress response in your nervous system,
Yeah.
which shuts you down even more. So definitely breaks from social media, breaks from things that are very highly stimulating, breaks that are really good for the soul. So I always, like, I started with micro decisions, like micro pieces, you know, what brings me alive, what makes me feel soft, what makes me feel relaxed.
Yeah.
Incorporating little pieces. And if you're like, I don't have time for that, I don't have time for that. Because usually people in burnout are in a lot of sympathetic overtime.
Yes.
They're in a lot of stress response. There's a lot of adrenaline and cortisol pumping through their body, which then becomes this like addiction cycle, which is fucking nuts. That's a podcast for another day. But taking little micro breaks and showing yourself, your body, that it is safe to take a break. So, you know, grabbing a book and reading for 10 minutes at a time, or if you're stressed out, or maybe a really slow movement, intuitive movement, just like getting on the ground on all fours and letting your body lead you. Getting outside in nature if you can. Nature is the most beautiful, therapeutic, soul revival practice you can do, at least in my experience. Getting out there. Just little, you know, meditation if that feels good for you. Just things that bring you out of the noise and into yourself and your soul and your body. Everyone has different things. Some people love gardening. Some people love cooking. Whatever makes you lose track of time and just brings you into a slower state. Something that's just helping you feel a little more alive, right?
Yeah.
It's just reminding you, having conversations, honesty, and not like, I'm burnt out, I'm going to go Google and ask, you know, Sally, who's already a fucking spazzy Sally, and then she's gonna like tell me that I'm dying, and then I'm Googled I've ChatGPT'd burnout, and then I'm like fucked, right? We don't want stuff, because even reading and watching things that stimulate that adds the fear response, and then your body doesn't know what's real and what's not, right? So just being very
media
mindful.
detox is huge.
Media detox, and what you're consuming as well,
Yeah.
like just taking a break, like that was huge for me.
Yeah.
And honestly, a big thing for me was that when I was in that extreme burnout, my soul was not in alignment with what I was here to do. And I was burning, I was hustling, and I was stressed, and I had a lot of environmental factors that were stressful as well. But I knew I wanted to coach. I knew I wanted to help people more, and it was different from my gym that I was running.
Right.
And so when I actually, even though I was like literally had no money, my coach at the time had this intuitive coaching program come out, and I was like, how in God's green earth am I going to come up with like $16,000, whatever it was? And I heard this voice that was like, you're doing it. And I was like, I have no money and I'm totally burnt out. I literally am like already burnt out. And
You want me to do more?
you want me to do more? But sometimes doing more of what sets your soul on fire and you love is the medicine that actually helps you
Totally.
remove out from the hellhole that is the burnout and in the misalignment. And so I started stepping towards and saying yes to the things that were in alignment, even when I didn't exactly know the pathway. And everything started to magically start to get better. So it's very fascinating that my whole entire body magically also started getting better
Yeah.
when all those things we talked about today, micro shifts, and then in addition, stepping towards the things that even though they had made no sense at the time, my soul was like, you're doing this and you're finding the way, and say yes to this. And so I started listening to my intuition, and my whole body literally like healed itself. Like it was wild. But, you know, and I'm not saying that's for everybody, but it's taking a look at also your environment, who's in your life, the people you surround yourself with. And if there is, you know, some snip that can happen, and letting go of some of those things, that can also really help rebound your energy and bring
100%.
back the buoyancy of who you actually are.
Yeah.
Because burnout is real. It's not a place you're meant to stay. It's a messenger. The things are out of alignment, and a lot of the times it's your patterns, it's the programs, it's the good girl, it's the people pleasing, it's the doormat and itis syndrome. It's like all of that, and that was all the stuff that got me into burnout, because I was saying yes to everything. I was, you know, pleasing everybody. I had zero hygiene around my boundaries when it came to people. Like it was just there's so many factors, but little micro shifts. This is what we teach in the Club Unhinged all the time. Micro shifts are literally
Money,
the
money,
ingredients
honey.
to your quantum leap and to getting to where you want to be and having that, midlife reinvention, like walking you through that portal. Because sometimes, women do find us when they're a bit burnt out, when they find the Club and they're like, my life has to change. And I'm in that like midlife, either career or relationship, or I'm in a divorce or something's happened. And we're like, let us walk you out of that, the patterns. Let us walk you out of the burnout. Let us walk you out of that phase where you're not totally sure what to do and you've tried everything. And then we're like, wow,
Perfect.
let us get our hands on you. We've both done it ourselves.
Multiple times.
Yeah. So.
Yes. I love that so much. And like everything you just said is pure gold. And it just kind of pinged for me of like, oh yeah, like I came back to my creativity in a huge way around the same time that I started to come through burnout. And that's when I went back to songwriting in a serious way. It was right after that. And then obviously it's continued and now it's poetry and writing and all the things.
Yeah.
But like that's actually what feeds my soul, and that's what keeps me and is like the buffer for future burnout, but also like having your boundaries locked and loaded. Like that is energy leaks closed and looped up, like all very important stuff, which we will support you in inside the club. So if that's your vibe, if you're like, oh, I need this, head to the show notes, send us your application. We will get on a call with you, make sure it's a good fit. And if you liked today's episode, we would love if you would give us a 5-star rating and share it with all your friends, especially someone who might be going through burnout and you're like, this bitch has got some fucking fire and I want to see them thrive. So send it to them. We would love that and appreciate you so much. Thanks for listening. And we will be back next week with a 3-way. Love you, friends.
Love you.
Bye. All in all, we want to say thank you for being here. We love and appreciate you so much. And if you liked today, give us a 5-star rating. And we'll see you next week.
Share it. If you know somebody who needs this in their life, share this shit. Abundance goes round and round. We love you.
We love you.
Bye.